Yeah. Well, hey friends, Doppler Dave here. I'm just going to ride out here for a little while on the storm coverage, mainly on our Facebook stream, our digital platforms here, our website, and YouTube. That way, if you want to follow what's going to happen here as storms approach Amarillo or your hometown, we can do that. I'll be on TV every now and then. I did want to point out, if you look right up here, let's see, all right, let me see if I get this right. It's 180, right there. You can scan that with your phone, and just scan that little symbol right there. That leads you to our phone app if you don't already have that, and that's a really, really valuable resource to have, especially nights like tonight when it's lightning out there and we've had some severe weather, all kinds of rumors going on, or maybe you just want to know what's happening. So that's what I'm here to do right now, is take you through that. And what we'll do first of all, before we zero in on Amarillo, point out that we have a severe thunderstorm watch that's in the pink. That goes until 11, so a little bit longer. We also have a flood watch out there in New Mexico. No warnings right now. We've been in and out of a few severe thunderstorm warnings. I will keep reminding you that that green north of Amarillo, the Canadian River, is over flood stage right now, and we've got more rain coming in there. You want to avoid that area, I promise. So here's the line of storms that we have. Pretty much from Liberal down, starts to break just south of Vega, picks up again down around Hereford. Then we have a few stragglers in New Mexico. So right now, we're looking at mainly just heavy rain, and the winds may get up 40 to 50 miles per hour from Liberal down to Hooker and coming out of Guyman. We'll look at some cameras here in a few minutes. It's been really lit up around Guyman as that storm blows through, but we haven't had a lot of reports of a lot of severe weather there. I do, while we're looking at that shot right there. Okay, main thing we're seeing reported is just some good torrential rainfall. So Liberal down Highway 54, Hooker to Guyman is that zone right now. Beaver County, be on standby, because you know how you got soaked over the weekend, especially Sunday. Man, and any saturated areas are going to take more rainfall. We're going to have to watch out for more runoff issues. So we pick up the line again from Guyman southward, 136 to Groover. Storm's now coming into Groover, and if you're in Spearman, be on standby. You got about 15 minutes, be knocking on your door. This is going to come in with a leading edge of straight wind, and all along this line there's a shelf cloud that looks real ragged, looks really crazy, but we're not tracking tornadoes or anything tonight. But from Groover out to Spearman, and then more Springle down to the south. Sunray catching some pretty heavy rain at this time. And then the line is right there at Dumas. It's pretty much come through Channing and Boys Ranch, but remember, the river in there, Valle de Oro, all the way over to Fritch, flood stage, and look at all that rain coming in there. That line goes to Masterson and Four-Way, to the Canadian River, and bends down to Wildorado. That's where it catches I-40, but you know, for Bushland and Amarillo, it's just going to come down to, if that continues to shrink a little bit to the north, that's what it looks like. So we got that outflow boundary, the green line coming in. That's going to give us that shelf, that arc cloud-looking shelf that's going to be blowing in with some straight wind, a lot of lightning, but I'm not sure how much of that rain is going to make Amarillo. It just looks like on this last scan, it's building a little bit south of I-40. That's something I'm going to watch carefully over the next 20 to 30 minutes. Now, we'll zoom out a little bit. A couple new storms popping up around Hereford. Had some rain go through Freona, now around Black, and that's edging off to the east, maybe towards Dimmitt. And then finally, we zoom out a little bit, a few stragglers out in New Mexico, but that's about it. First, let's go to some tower cams. These are very, very interesting looking. We'll start off in Amarillo. Now, I mentioned that shelf-looking cloud. Is that not cool? That's what forms right on the leading edge of the wind shift, the outflow boundary, we call it. Look at the layers in there and the lightning, and when the lightning flashes, there's always something hanging out that you wonder, hey, is that a funnel cloud or not? I'm here to tell you that I think any type of funnel or tornado activity would be highly unlikely as this comes into Amarillo. This is a classic, just linear setup, classic little squall. While we're on that, I'm gonna punch back over, and I want to show you what this looks like on different radar right here. This way I could draw a line. And for Amarillo, this line right here, that's where we have that outflow boundary. That's that shelf-looking cloud, because warm air and moisture is riding up over that rain-cooled air, and it rides up and condenses into clouds, and it makes it look like a long shelf. So that's exactly what's going on. I also mentioned within that last scan, we had a little new development just south of Wildorado. So if this trend continues, it looks like it's trying to fill in. So as that comes east, I think that's increasing our chances of maybe some more rain in Amarillo. Just how much and how strong remains to be seen. I'll put this into motion. There we go. And you see that last little build down to the south. So we'll watch that carefully. I'm going to come back to some more towers as we watch this come on in. And we'll take a look from Bushland. Now, we've got Bushland looking back towards Amarillo, and there's all that lightning, and that's the bottom side of that shelf-looking cloud that's coming into the city. Now, one thing I need to point out, I know a lot of people are just going to be finding this because it's late, and you're starting to see lightning. I know my phone went off just a few minutes ago, said lightning was detected near my location. Yours probably will too. So what we're doing is we're tracking this batch of storms, and right now I'm kind of focused on Amarillo. We'll look at the whole area. But what we're seeing here is our outflow boundary getting closer to the city, but a little new development south of I-40 and even here north of Hereford. So what we don't know right now is how well this is going to fill in as to how much makes it to Amarillo. We do not have severe warnings out for right now. So this is just mainly rain. The wind will get up maybe 50 miles per hour when that comes in, and there's going to be a ton of lightning in there, as I mentioned. We'll come back to this radar and back her up a little bit, and we'll check on any warnings that have been issued since I started. And by the way, I will be on TV coming up here in about 8 minutes or so. But right now, I'm just going to kind of continue our coverage, even though things right now are below severe intensity. I want to make sure that trend holds, and I also want to see if any new warnings are issued. And we have a lot of folks that have heard about the warnings earlier tonight with some wind and some hail, and they may be wondering if that's going to blow into your town. Your NOAA alert radio, hope you got that on standby, and our phone app right here. I did point out earlier that you can scan. I'll have that image back up here in a momentarily that you can scan. And in fact, see if I can. Here these last couple of weeks, what a storm season this has turned out to be. I mean, it has been incredible, and we're just getting started, I think. Most of this week, most of the rest of this week, we're going to be busy tracking a lot of storms. So right now, that's what we got. I'll come back and take a look at our whole area as promised. You notice we have pretty much a solid line. Starts off there around Liberal, the rain, pretty much making it in now. Even have a new cell right over you. But no warning. This is just going to be a good soaker, it looks like. From Liberal back down to Hooker, storms pretty much moved out of Guyman. Some good news there. That's going to move out to Optima and then start heading towards Beaver County, where I expect a lot of rain tonight in a saturated area. So if you live around Beaver, Elmwood, and Balco, those areas that had got so much rain and hail over the weekend, we're going to have to watch out for that. Dropping south, now Groover is getting soaked with rain, about to move into Spearman. It's moving at a pretty good clip, so that's going to limit how much rain falls, but it'll be coming down at a pretty good rate while you do have it. So Spearman, and then eventually looks like Waka, Farnsworth, and then Perryton. That's been another hard-hit area lately with a lot of rain. Sunray will take you down to the south. Storm's pretty much wrapping up in Dumas and moving out pretty quickly. A little bow there around Masterson heading to Fritch. We might be looking at some decent straight winds, but still something like 50, 55 miles per hour around Fritch, Sanford, and Borger. Again, we do expect storms in the lake within 15 minutes. And then you see the outflow boundary coming into Amarillo and the rain extending pretty much coming out of Boys Ranch and Valle d'Oro, right down the river, which is at flood stage. Definitely want to avoid that area. And then we pick up the rain just about I-40 and Wildorado, getting closer to Bushland. But we're wondering about developments there, if that's going to fill in or not. It has time to do that, just not really looking real solid yet. But it wouldn't surprise me to see some new development that does get on into Amarillo, probably at sub-severe levels. Hereford, you had a little rain there. That's tracking off to your northeast. Some more down Highway 60 at Black. For our friends in Dimmitt, there's some minor stuff down to your southwest. We're going to see if that holds together. Overall, this line will continue to track east and slowly weaken, I think, a little bit later on. I'm going to come back to take a look at our tower cameras and see what they look like. Again, coming into Amarillo, it looks pretty gnarly. I mean, that is a ugly-looking shelf cloud rolling into the city. You guys see that? Check that out, Jordan. I've got it up over here. Isn't that something? That's just what we call a shelf cloud, an Arcus cloud. A lot of lightning underneath that, and it's just incredible. I'm going to leave that on there for a minute. I'm going to set my show up. I got a TV cut in coming in here soon. I want to make sure that I get that on because people need to see that. There's no doubt about that. So just know that it's not a tornadic storm. You know, I know a lot of people are kind of worried about that. Not a tornadic storm, and really probably not even going to be severe. But it's, you know, always noteworthy, and like I said, on a night like tonight when we're talking about severe weather and you got all of that lightning right there, that just, it's kind of unnerving. It's kind of unsettling. So I just want to, I'm on basically to, you know, put people at ease that we don't have anything really, really hazardous blowing into town. See, okay, there's my camera up. Okay, let's see what Bushland looks like. Our camera from Bushland, I-40, looking back, you know, towards Amarillo, and yeah, just a ton of lightning. Very ragged on the bottom side, but those are not funnels or wall clouds or anything intense. Quick shot out of Lake Meredith. It's going to show, yep, lightning in the distance. And then Guyman, worst of the storm has passed. I'm going to let that probably just kind of blow away from you. Still see lightning departing. My phone just alerted me again that I've got lightning near my location. So, you know, that's what we got is an electrified storm. That is crazy. I love to see that. We'll pick up another shot. Okay, there's right down I-40 towards Amarillo from Bushland. And there's back to the northwest just a little bit. Very intense looking lightning, but again, this storm is not harboring hail or tornadoes or anything like that. So again, I'm getting close to a TV cut in. So I'm geared up to track that here momentarily. Here's a latest radar shot for Amarillo, and it's kind of a toss-up right now with that coming in, whether or not it's going to fill and get down to the city or just cruise just to the north. I'd say there's a pretty good shot that, you know, most of Amarillo gets at least a little rainfall. What would really help out the predicament would be if this fills in, and it's a little early to tell if that's going to happen. So just know that we're going to watch that and let you know as it comes in, kind of a play-by-play. So we got this long squall line. Starts off around Liberal and then Hooker, Oklahoma, down all the way to near Amarillo. Got a few outflow boundaries we can see. That's the rain-cooled air pushing out ahead. What we don't have that we did over the weekend or Sunday was rotating supercells. We just don't really have that. This is much more linear. That takes the threat of rotation down, takes the threat of tornadoes down. We could still get some hail. We might be seeing that up in the northern part of Beaver County. Before I go on TV here, I'm going to check this. Okay, got a minute to TV. Yeah, not seeing any new warnings or anything. This is good. So what I'll do is set up once again for a little TV action. Get our TV audience caught up on what's happening also. 30 seconds, okay, so if I start there, and then I can go here, okay, just getting my, as they say, ducks in a row. Hey, thanks for joining us, and by the way, I'll stay on Facebook and YouTube before and after the TV bulletin. We just try to get everybody covered. I mean, if you're at home, you get to see me every 30 minutes while we track storms, but you might not be at TV, you might be watching on your phone or something else. This way you get continuous information and know what's happening, even if it's not severe. Just kind of get a play-by-play. What I'll probably do, okay, standing by here for TV, stand by. All right, folks, Doppler Dave here. Still tracking storms. Overall, we've had a decreasing trend in intensity, but we still have a lot of action out there. So strong storms, and some of those are approaching Amarillo. So I wanted to get everybody caught up on what's happening. This is what you're seeing in the Amarillo skies, that long shelf-like cloud. It looks really ominous. It looks menacing, but it's just the wind shift from some rain-cooled air, thunder and lightning back behind it. But, you know, we're not looking at wall clouds or tornadoes or anything like that. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch about to, well, hit its expiration in just a couple of minutes. We'll see if we get any kind of extension. That's probably unlikely. And then the flood watch out in New Mexico, that green north of Amarillo, flood warning on the Canadian, which is problematic because it is raining there. You can see, you got this line of storms. Again, the intensity down a little bit, but still very strong. The strongest part, the strongest cell I have there is around Liberal into the northern part of Beaver County, northern part of Texas County. That's where there might be some nickel-sized hail, but that's mainly heavy rain and some straight wind that will be descending upon Beaver and most of Beaver County here within the next 30 minutes. So we catch that line coming from east of Guyman now, about Optima, about to move into Hardesty, raining heavily at Groover and about to hit Spearman, but not seeing hail indication. Going to get some wind, 40, 50 miles per hour, a lot of lightning and a lot of rain. That's now kind of wrapping up Cactus and Sunray, approaching Morse and Pringle now. Same situation where I'd expect heavy rain. This is now coming out of Dumas and Masterson, approaching the lake. That's going to be Fritch, Sanford, Borger, Stinnett. See that outflow boundary coming in, straight wind, at 50 miles per hour, followed by all that lightning and rain. Heavy rain now around the Canadian River north of Amarillo. Remember, we're at or above flood stage in there. This is going to aggravate that problem. But the heavier rain is now pushed out of Boys Ranch and Valle de Oro. The rain comes down to Wildorado and about to Bushland. Still watching to see what happens for Amarillo. It's time for that to fill in a little bit. I don't anticipate severe weather for the city. I got that wind shift. I kind of hear it over the building here at News Channel 10. You know, 40, 50 miles per hour, hoping for a little rain. Down to the south, it's a little less intense, but we'll continue to watch some storms. Again, you can follow our coverage here, and we will certainly keep you up to date. All right, back off of TV, but you get to continue the show. And I was talking about Amarillo. I saw there, I thought, you know, right at the end there, it looked like we're getting a little more fill in. Let me come in for a close-up look here. Yeah, it's not, you know, it might be the start of a little more rain. We got a little bit of build there south of Wildorado and Bushland, but I got this. I don't know if that's precip just now starting to show up. And then we have this down around dawn, and it's moving to the north a little bit. So, you know, it's still a toss-up whether or not that fills in here south of I-40 and moves towards Amarillo. We'll keep an eye on that, but I really, as impressive as these tower cams are, it's fun to watch that. I mean, that is really neat. Very scenic, very spectacular as that shelf or Arcus cloud comes on across the city. Starting to at least approach. Yeah, it's starting to move on across the city. You see all the lightning behind it? So we're going to track that on through Amarillo, make sure we don't get any warnings, and if we're staying below sub-severe on the intensities, we'll you know, kind of fade away to regular programming because it's not that dangerous, and kind of getting late at night. Not as many outdoor activities, and not quite as problematic. Back from Bushland, there it is, real ragged on the bottom. Just to reiterate, this is not a situation that tornadoes are likely, or tornadoes or even wall clouds or funnel clouds. We just don't expect that. We do expect rain, lightning, and some wind, and I want to come back and show you that storms are pretty much, about to move into the Bishop Hills area. All right, my phone just going off again on lightning. Probably going to hear that a lot with a lot of cloud-to-ground strikes. So now looks like the rain is getting closer to Amarillo and Bushland, Eagletree, Bishop Hills, those areas. The north side of Amarillo, Tierra Grande, I think River Road, Pleasant Valley, Rolling Hills stand a very good chance of getting some of that rain. And you know, it just looks like mainly heavy rain. I'm going to come back to a different radar here and we'll back her up. And, okay, there's what we have, seeing if we get any new development. Yeah, Bushland looks like you're going to catch at least some of that. And then it's going to sweep off to the east pretty rapidly. If you're at the lake, Fritz or Sanford or Borger, it's about to move on into your location also. But just below severe intensity. Weather Service is not issuing a warning, but a special weather statement for strong thunderstorms across a good part of our area. Yeah, mainly that northern zone. So that's up in here. Yeah, that part of the line there, that's going to include Spearman and Pringle. And Perryton pretty rapidly. That's building pretty quickly down to the south. Liberal, Hooker, almost to Beaver. That's filling in rapidly also. That's a soaker up there. And just back to let you know that, okay, they did let the severe thunderstorm watch expire. That's always good. That doesn't mean we necessarily don't have a storm or two that will be close to severe intensity. But overall, that means the trend is down. We kind of expected that. That's why they had the warning or the watch going until 11. It's about this time of night that we're losing some of that instability that fired everything up, and intensities are coming down. I am concerned about low water crossings. Beaver took a lot of rain over the weekend, so that's going to be something that we have to watch no matter what. But the actual hail threat is down. I think it's going to be very blustery all along this line. Groover, Spearman, Pringle, down to the lake. And even in Amarillo, if we don't get the rain, we're going to catch some outflow, which we're getting right now. That could kick our wind up. Doesn't sound real horrible, but 30 to 40 miles per hour. And then down the line, still waiting to see if storms there are going to have time to build towards Amarillo. We're going to have to hurry. We have a weakness in there. And that last little storm that I was watching, last little cell, looked like it might be trying to build there. Doesn't look like it's taking off rapidly, that's for sure. So I'd say Amarillo I-40 North is going to have our best chance of catching some of that rainfall and coming in non-severe. So you start to see it coming into Bushland there. Intensity still coming down just a little bit. If your phone has gone off or you've heard thunder and you're waking up wondering about Amarillo, I think we're going to get off pretty easy here with no tornadoes or large hail. In fact, intensities all across the area have subsided somewhat. I just wanted to put people at ease and kind of reassure you that we're tracking something coming across the city, but it does not look like it's going to be real destructive or devastating. This is good news. You can see the green line out across that, still active. The rain follows it up, though. It doesn't come in right with that wind shift, and it's pretty much on I-40, and just not sure it's going to make Amarillo. Now, keep in mind, if we don't get rain tonight, we're going to be back at it tomorrow and probably Thursday and Friday, even into Saturday. So, it might be kind of good that some areas don't get rain. Phone, once again, telling me that lightning's going off. And if you want to hear that yourself, still impressive looking at just visually, lightning getting closer. That's downtown. I'm looking to the northwest as that approaches the city. And it's going to give us a lot of thunder, visually a lot of lightning, and come on in from the west. So waiting on our latest scan on radar to see what that looks like from Bushland as we watch. Starting to get a little rain in Bushland. Probably going to be minor because we're not in the main part of the storm and it's moving pretty quickly. So that'll limit the amount of rain we get at Bushland. It really picks up as we go to the north. But if you looked out and you've seen that, yeah, it's impressive, but even the thunderstorm at this time is non-severe. So I'm watching this very carefully. Outflow boundary now in the city through about downtown and down to about Randall High School and pushing to the east. So we'll get that rain-cooled wind. Gets gusty. We see the lightning, but as far as the rain, man, it's still really close to I-40 around Bushland. So north of this line, I think, is where we have the best chance of significant rain for the city. I know Tanner getting excited. Looks like another night that he's going to do pretty well in the rain gauge showdown if we don't get any changes here very soon. Okay, yeah, still looking at the north side of Amarillo catching most of this. Now, while we're waiting for that to come on into the city, pull back out a little bit, and we'll back up across other parts of the area, see what the evolution is. So there we go. Still got that main line coming in, moving west-east at a pretty good clip. Okay, rain is now starting to develop into Beaver County. Main threat there is going to be flooding of low-lying areas. Hail threat is down. From Perryton to Spearman, Pringle, heavy rain is going to be the main threat. This does extend down, about to sweep across the lake. The wind is already there, followed by the rain. So Fritch, you'll be getting as shortly, Sanford and Borger. Again, no warning out for that storm. It's just a good soaker and moving at a pretty good clip. So even though the rain may come down heavily for a little while, I don't think it's going to linger too long. If you're in Amarillo hoping for a big soaking rain, going to be kind of a disappointment, I think, for a lot of people because most of that rain is sweeping by to the north, it looks like. Looks like it's lifted a little bit there now north of I-40, which means even less of the city is going to catch that rainfall. And then down to the south, Canyon, you're in kind of the hole also. You got a little bit of activity there. Around Umbarger, just doesn't look like it wants to hold together very well. Hearing some pretty good thunder out here at News Channel 10 right now. So we might see a little more of that. The storms down to the southwest are kind of inconsequential, and then back towards Tucumcari. Again, it's just looks like those storms are not going to hold together very well. So I'm going to give it a little bit longer to make sure the storm doesn't suddenly develop a little further south, but I'm happy to announce across our area that we're not tracking any warnings. Certainly not tornadoes. No hail right now. The wind is gusty, but for a storm to be severe because of wind, it has to be 58 miles per hour. I think we're more like 30 to 40. So those threats are down. The other one would be flash flooding, and that could still be significant in areas that have been just waterlogged, and that includes a big part of the area. There's another. Let's see if I can pull up. Yeah, this will pop up the camera. Yep. Shelf coming on into the city. No hail though. No tornadoes. Wow. That's still, I mean, for a weather nut, it's always neat to see that right there. Shelf cloud, Arcus cloud, that's where the rain-cooled air is, and storms developing behind it. Now, while I'm on the subject, I'm going to bump through my show a little. Actually, I'll do it this way. If you saw me on the 10 o'clock news, how do you like these numbers? Tomorrow night, 70% on storms, first alert. Thursday, 40% on storms, first alert. Friday, 50% chance of storms, first alert. So the next 3 nights, we expect severe weather. So, it's not just rain, but I really think the energy is going to ramp up tomorrow, and we'll need to be on our toes. So we got the entire first alert team ready to go, ready to track, whatever comes our way. And that's what we do. So tomorrow night, Thursday night, Friday night, first alert. And you see those solid rain chances. We'll back her up. Here's kind of a model run for tomorrow. And it just looks very active, especially, say, 6 to 10 p.m. Same setup that we've had. All this moisture. Can you believe the humidity we've had? That upper level system is what's energizing the atmosphere. It's getting closer, and it'll take it a while to move on through. So the next 24 hours, yeah, it's going to be pretty active. So we're back to current radar here. We'll start off to the north again. Heaviest rain, I think, is right there coming into the Oklahoma Panhandle from Hooker over to Beaver. And my phone's telling me that we got heavy precip nearby. I'm kind of on that. I'm one ahead of myself there on the phone app. But anyway, these are the notifications that might get people up watching our coverage. Spearman, you're really getting into the rain now, but you won't see hail, I don't think. Pringle and Morse, you're really getting into it now. Wrapping up at Dumas and Masterson. Fritch, rain increasing. Sanford, about to come on in. And Borger, it'll be coming in as well. This goes all the way down past the Canadian River. That's at flood stage, and that is going to really aggravate that problem. We're just going to have to void the Canadian area from Valley de Oro all the way to the lake until we start to get drying out. For Amarillo, again, it just looks like most of the rain is skirting to the north. You can see right there on radar just north of Loop 335. But Tanner's still going to get some of that. But most of the city, unless we get redevelopment here, probably not going to see a lot. And then down to the south of I-40, it's kind of inconsequential there. So, all right, Jordan, about 5 more minutes, guys. 5 more minutes. I don't think we need to do another TV cut in, David, so I think so, yeah. I think so. I'm just coordinating our coverage team out here at News Channel 10. We haven't had warnings for a while, and I really think with our loss of energy the rest of the night, there might be some minor flood issues, but the threat of tornadoes, hail, and even straight wind has gone down. So I think we can pretty well assure people that, you know, you can go to sleep tonight, not worry too much about what's happening. You know, if your dog gets frightened by lightning or something, you're still going to have some issues. But as we look at Amarillo, again, if you're hoping for big rain, it's just not really happening. Most of this is staying north of I-40 and probably even north of Amarillo Boulevard. You know, there's a chance that some of this might develop a little bit towards the northeast side of town, but the attempt at a fill-in down to the south appears to be failing. So that's what I'm going to do here. Thanks for sticking with us tonight. This, as I said, is just night one of probably several in a row that we're going to be busy tracking storms, and they'll get stronger. So I'll leave you with the northeast part of the area. You're going to get some good rain tonight. Enjoy that. Not going to be severe. The rest of our area, stay tuned tomorrow. Get that phone app that I talked about one more time. Be safe when you're away from TV, but tomorrow we'll have the entire First Alert team engaged and do everything we can to keep you safe. So do that. Stay tuned, everybody, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.